So I have a feeling with all of these adventures that probably the future is a little bit unclear and kind of curvy and so on and so forth. But I'm just kind of curious, as you get ready to head off on this part of your internship, do you think at all about what you'd like to do as a career or your future professional destiny path? I'm guessing you're not a guy that sits in an office 18, 25, 30 hours a week doing therapy. So what kinds of thoughts do you have on where you go from here?
Well, I kind of did have a plan set up, but I've discovered a lot of new things through the internship process, and I'm sure I'll continue to do that. But I'm going to work for, when I get back from Peru, I'm going to work for the Southwest Family Guidance Center. It's the company I've worked for the whole time I've been here. So I'm going to do work with kids and families. So you go to the homes and do family therapy, you go to the school and do individual therapy, maybe you meet up at the office sometimes to do a variety of both. But you work with the whole family and not just the kid at the school. I'm very interested in that work. I think it's great, you know, with all of our experiences coming. I think most people who come to the school have some sort of family dynamic thing going on, right? And so to learn about yourself, to learn about your own family, and then apply that to these other families and give them the space to heal, I think is wonderful. But I was at Santa Fe Recovery Center for the first part of my internship, and I tell you that the education that we get here has a lot of overlap with 12-step recovery work.
Interesting.
I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but I was reading the AA book, the NA book, the Red Road to Wellbriety, the Native American Way, all these teachings, and the people at the Recovery Center, a lot of them are recovering addicts now, counselors, you know, they understand and can connect with the clients on that level. And the teachings that they gave me just about being mindful, having a spiritual practice, you know, all of these ideas about surrender, about your own personal responsibility versus the things you can't control. I mean, these are the kind of things that we learn here other than the practical counseling, you know, the experientials and all that. There's an undercurrent of surrender, of going with the flow, of knowing what you can control, what you can be responsible for. And so I was inspired because this process here at the school was much like that. We all supported each other through our own healing, our own work. And that's what they're doing at the Recovery Center. All the clients who come in, they create community and they give each other that support, right? The AA work is like that. So you've got people who are showing up for others in a sponsorship, or you've got people who say, I have sobriety, this is how I got to it. And others are like, I want that too. So that, you know, they come together in that way. So I think recovery work is in my future for sure. I found out that after this education here, there's only 4 classes or so that I could take at the community college to get a LADAC, you know, drug and alcohol counselor. I think it would just be beautiful to continue that energy. Of course, then there's the eco-psych part. There was an internship I was looking at through Carol Parker. It's Pacific Quest in Hawaii. And basically it's work, residential work. So you have all these teenage boys and girls who have gotten in trouble in some way, and now their parents are sending them off to boot camp, they think. But really it's actually a vision quest / permaculture. So you facilitate vision quests for these kids, and you do permaculture, so you're manipulating the land in a sustainable way. You know, you're watching the sun, you're watching the rain, and you're forming to that, right? And so you're teaching them sustainability with their surroundings on that level, so that's really neat. I was thinking about going there, and I think work like that is probably in my future. You know, things that where you're outdoors, you know, you're not in an office for 60 hours a week seeing 30 clients or whatever crazy schedule that people take on. I think there are growing opportunities out there to do things outdoors, to do ceremony, to teach kids initiatory experiences, so that age, you know, that 12, 13, 14 age where I need something that's going to propel me into this next stage of life. You know, I need an experience that's mentally and emotionally, physically close to death so that I can rebirth into my new phase of life. I mean, we as people had that, and we've lost it, but now it's coming back. There's a resurgence. And so people like us who have this kind of training can go out and facilitate that. And I think it's just a beautiful, you know, I've come 360 with this, you know, where I was the kid, really. You know, I was probably 20-something, but I was the kid getting the sweat lodge or the talking circle. And now I can pass that on to, you know, my own culture, my own society, and help facilitate that healing.